ICT optional paper 1 of JKPSC. You will observe one thing, that JKPSC optional paper, this one, it's more or less on the lines of UPSC paper, so it will help you to understand the structuring, answering the questions in the UPSC mains too, and even forest services. So let's just have a cursory understanding that what type of questions are asked. You'll see that the questions are directly from the syllabus, as the UPSC syllabus, as the UPSC asks. So this is the question. The first part contains 10 mark questions, and they have a proper space for it. They will give 1 page for it. You can write it, you can fill 1.5 page or all the 2 sides of the page. So the question is directly from the syllabus. Like, you have the first question, that is structure and mechanism of the action of cnidarian nematocysts. The next question is about biological clock, the onychophora. So these questions are directly from the syllabus. We can see and discuss that how the structure is made. So this is a 10 mark question. You will see there are 20 mark questions too. So for the 20 marks questions, for example, the question is, describe the types of dentition found in mammals. Explain with diagram adaptation of teeth in relation to the feeding habits in different mammalian groups. The questions are for 15 marks too. You will see that 20 mark questions, these are, you have to write them at length. You have to discuss in detail. For example, here is again one question for 20 marks, that is detailed account of social organization of one eusocial insect. You can discuss about honeybee or the termite. So you can discuss them at length, and at length means you have to discuss the qualities of that, the features of the, you first of all you have to discuss about the classification, then diagram the difference between the different social castes, the functions performed from the caste, by the caste, different caste, and what the reproductive strategy, the whole structure of the colony. So this is how you are going to explain it in detail. The questions for 20 marks. There are questions for 15 marks too. So you have to deal them accordingly. So if you will see, first of all, as I said, there are questions that are for 10 marks. And you have 1 page, and the strategy is to fill either 1.5 side of the page. This is the best way to do it. The reason being because the paper is lengthy and you have to cover everything. If you are able to write in 1.5 side of the page, or even the full 2 sides of the page, then if you have fast handwriting, if you are able to write legibly and very quickly and make points that way, then yes, you can write for 2 sides. But this is minimum 1.5 sides only, then you will be able to fetch the marks, because this is what the examiner thinks while checking your paper. Next is 15 marks. Here you can fill 3 sides of the pages. So you will get 1 page and 2nd page. So you will write on both the sides of the first page, and on the 3rd page you can fill it fully, or even or 2.5. It depends upon the time or the whatever you have the capacity to write, whatever information you have, it depends upon solely on you. But it's ideal to write either the 3 complete pages or 2, and you have to divide the questions which are for 15 marks at least into 3 parts. Like, you will divide the answer into 3 parts. And when it comes to the structuring, I'll suggest that this is what I have done, and this idea has given me marks, so I'll also suggest you the same. For example, you have these. First one, if I divided the question into 3 parts, the first part I used to make a proper diagram, and write the bullet points. In second part, I would, whatever there is there, if there is a requirement of the diagram, I'll make a diagram and make a proper flow chart. The flow chart, it reduced the time. Okay, it reduced the time for me, because the whole mains exam is about managing time. It reduced the time for me, and I could write the points very well and quickly, and even mention the examples. And in third part, you can again write the points or flow chart. It depends completely what is the requirement of the question, but this is how I used to do. I used to divide the question in such a way that I used to make the flow chart in one section of the answer. And similarly, for 20 marks too, you can do the same. You will get 2 pages with 4 sides. So yes, you can divide the first portion, you can divide this question into 3 or 4 parts. For example, let's take this question only. The question that is about the eusocial insects. Let's discuss about the honeybee. So on the first page, I would go for the diagram of this honeybee, a simple diagram of honeybee, and classification, habitat, and some general points, general features of honeybee. Okay, this will cover the first portion. Then also discussing about the next, social organization, which is the dominant part of the question. So social organization, in this I'll discuss about the castes, different caste. So it will take up to these 2 pages, discussing all the caste, their even the how the reproduction takes place, the whole system of reproduction, and at the end I'll also discuss the structure of the colony, mechanism of action of cnidarian nematocyst. If you will see from the book Mastering Zoology book by Ask Depot, you will observe that the structure, everything is mentioned in the book. Or even if you will refer to the classes, the zoology classes, everything, the structure, the mechanism, everything is explained in a very lucid manner. So you will find all the content, and even from the book you will observe that first of all you start any answer with a proper introduction, and in this case you will introduce it with the definition. Okay, what is the nematocyst and in which of the phylum it's found. So you will discuss about that. Then you will discuss about the structure, because you have to mention about the structure of the nematocyst. There is a capsule, thread, tubule, a proper way of, and yes, the most important thing is the diagram. You will make the diagram just besides your content. You will make a small diagram, and on other side you will write about the content in bullet format, and you will label the diagram, and always keep your diagram in the box. These are the suggestions for writing a structured answer in an organized format. And yes, the mechanism is properly explained here. You will see there are various stages, whether this is a chemical stage, biophysical changes, expulsion, toxin injection, and even retraction and recycling. And if you want more detail about it, you can refer to the classes of the Ask Depot, Mastering Zoology. You can refer to that. So next question is about the biological clock. So in case of the biological clock, you will just explain that what is the meaning of the biological clock. You will explain the introduction of biological clock, and then you will deeply analyze what are the so this is, you will explain what the biological clock is in a definition, in a proper definition, and then you will explain that how the mechanism of the biological clock works. There are various these flow charts which easily explain that how these work, and what are the what are these environmental cues, how it impacts the biological clock, how these set the time of the whole clock going on in our body. So you can explain the biological clock in this way, give the content of it, and yes, you can cover it from the book only. This is about the content. So I'm just telling you that how you are going to write the content, what is the proper manner of structuring your answer. Next question is about why is this onychophora considered a missing link. In this case, what you will do, you will make the diagram of the onychophora, give its classification, and write about the habitat, and then explain that what are the features which make it a missing link between the Annelida and Arthropoda. You can write about, in this case, you will write about the similarities between Onychophora and Annelida, then similarities between Onychophora and Arthropoda, and connect the dots through this and explain why it acts as a missing link, because it has features which are common to both Annelida and Arthropoda. It has similarities between the both. So this is a manner how you explain the questions about missing link, connecting link. There are various connecting links. So this is the manner you explain it. You just mention the similarities or the differences between the adjacent phyla. Next is a question about the phase contrast and fluorescence microscopy. So yes, this is a question where you will again draw the proper diagram, and this is about the content regarding the onychophora. Proper diagram is given. You can refer to this diagram from the book, and there are various points you will write down in the point manner. You will see it, this onychophora is also called as a peripatus. So yes, there is this mention of affinities. As I said, that there are various affinities, so you have to mention the affinities, and you can mention the features. So this is the manner how you will explain it as a connecting link. And lastly, you can give a very short conclusion that these are the features of the onychophora, that these make it a missing link according to whosoever scientist it was. So you can end it like that. Next is the phase contrast microscopy and the fluorescent microscopy. You will simply, in the questions of difference, you can make a table. I'll suggest in questions regarding the difference, you make a table and then you differentiate between the two, and you can even draw the diagram in half of the portion, and just do one thing, do this labeling, proper labeling. So in this question like this, you can just do the proper labeling, you can make a proper diagram, and you can then write in bullet points the differences between the two, like it has been explained in this. There is proper content, that how the light comes from the source, then how it's bent inside the condenser, how it is the light will interact, and how it will form the primary image. This is how this phase contrast microscopy works. Then is a fluorescence microscopy. Again, you will explain the if the question has been asked for 20 marks, then you will go into detail like principle, structure, diagram, parts, everything. But in case of the difference, and that too in 10 marker question, you just make a diagram and write few bullet points, as much as can be filled on the 1.5 side of the page, or 2 sides of the page. So this is how you are going to answer the questions regarding the differences between two things wherever it's asked. Next question is about the parasitic adaptation. These have been deeply detailed. There is a deeply detailed analysis of these topics in the Mastering Zoology book, and even in the course. You will observe that they have been discussed at length. Diagrams are well drawn, explained properly. So yes, parasitic adaptation in Taenia solium, there are parasitic adaptation in Fasciola hepatica. Everything is explained properly. If this year Taenia solium is asked, next year some other organism will be asked. So all the parts of the syllabus are important. All the topics of the syllabus are important. And in this case, you just have to make the diagram of the parasitic this parasite Taenia solium, and then you can write about the various adaptation. And mostly the adaptations, when we talk about the adaptation, it comes about the epidermis, the digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, nervous system, the structure. There is presence of hooks, there is presence of these suckers, and it helps it in attachment, and they have proper type of nutrition. So this is how you are going to approach such questions about the parasitic adaptation. Next time you can expect from some different organism, and diagrams are important wherever the questions from the animal diversity will come. Diagrams play a very important role. Next question is about the types of dentition found in mammals, and explain with diagram the adaptation of teeth in relation to feeding habits in different mammalian groups with suitable example. So in this case you have to describe the dentition found in mammals. First of all, you will just make a diagram of that, what is the general diagram of a tooth. There is enamel, there is outer coating, dentine, then pulp is there are, so a very general diagram of the whole. And then you will discuss about the types of dentition, like on the basis of structure of the teeth, on the basis of timing of shedding of the teeth, on the basis of types of teeth. There are different types of dentition. For example, there are these on the basis of cusps. There is selenodont, lophodont, cecodont, bilophodont, there is hypsodont. There are other types of teeth, like we have diphyodont, monophyodont, we have homodont, heterodont. So you will find all this in the book. You will find all these points in the course. You can refer to that, and you can edit here, and this is a way how you will write down the answer. So this is just a general overview of what you will find in the book, and I am giving you an idea how you are going to write the points. So there are various modifications. There is another part of the question. You write about the diagrams, the adaptation of the teeth in relation to the feeding habits. Now this is very important. According to the feeding habits. So in herbivores, there will be different modification of dentition. So these topics have been dealt in detail in the book. So there is proper modification. This dentition, it's based on the dietary modification. In case of herbivores, you will find there is diastema. You will find there is this type of diastema in marsupials. There will be presence of flat type of teeth which help in grazing. But in case of carnivores, you will find there are large canines because they have to tear the meat out of the prey. So these are the different type of modifications. Similarly, modifications you will find in carnivores too. So this is on the basis of dietary habits. So this question is about the dentition, and it has to be dealt in detail. Next, if you will see next question is about the AIDS. There is this question about AIDS. You have to discuss about the transmission, the current strategy of control, and public awareness as critical in managing this disease. So in this case, you will discuss about the virus. On one side of the page, you will discuss about structure of the virus, what this virus is, what is the proper how it was invented, the coating, its protein coating, how it works. Next is the mode of transmission. You will go in detail in the modes of transmission. So if you will see here, this is a whole mode of transmission, the whole life cycle. You will explain this life cycle, that how it targets the CD4 T cells, how it goes into the cell, how it adapts to the DNA, how it goes and how it takes in the foreign RNA, how it takes in the foreign genetic material, and how it works. So this is the whole working of the transmission of the AIDS virus. So you will discuss this in detail, and it has been explained in the book in a proper format, in a proper flowchart format. So this will be very helpful if you even buy this book or buy the course. Those who are very new, you can buy the course. Who are into the preparation, and they have already studied from, and just they want to consolidate and revise things, then this book it's a very important source. I think the students who are preparing for zoology, because I have myself qualified zoology with zoology optional, so I know how important this book is, because there are sources, and the sources, the books, they are scattered everywhere, the content is scattered everywhere, and in this book you will find all the content at one place. Next you can see this question that is about the origin of reptiles, how the reptiles have originated. You will show a proper way of origination, how it started, how they came up to the terrestrial landforms, and how they came out of the water, what were the changes, what was the need in the environment. So you will write about the requirements, why it happened, why they moved out of the dual lifestyle, that is amphibia, how they moved on to become reptiles, what are the different there are different theories of reptilian origin. You will discuss the theories, and you will also write about that during different periods which of the reptiles were there and how they became extinct, and how these reptiles which they had the early reptiles, they had amphibian characters, then how they developed the reptilian characters. So you will explain it in detail as it will be required for filling up to at least 3 sides of a page. So you will do it on the basis of the knowledge you get from the book, or what about the next question, that is about the social organization in insects. So the question is, write a detailed account of the social organization of any of you social insects. I explained it earlier that how you are going to approach this question. You will just make a diagram of honeybee, a basic diagram, and explain, and you can make a well labeled diagram, and then you will discuss that what is social organization in insects. So you will discuss about the eusociality, and later on you will go ahead with the whole colony, which are the different castes present in the colony, whether in honeybees or in termites, and you can explain it in detail. You will see in this book also there is mention of termites as well as the honeybees in detail. So you can either write about the termites or the honeybee. Whatever is good for you, you can do that, and add the diagrams also. So वो चीज़ I have explained earlier too. Now you will see another question that is about the ozone layer and the mechanism of degradation of ozone layer and its consequences. So this question is for 15 marks. For these questions, you can do one thing, that is, for example, you have to mention about the ozone layer. So you will make a well labeled diagram first of whole atmosphere and the different layers, and you will show that which layer is the ozone layer. So you will make a diagram, put it in a box properly, write about the ozone layer. So the question, if you will see, the question is for 15 marks, and first of all you will divide, and you have to explain the degradation. So this question can be divided into 3 parts. So this ozone layer question, it can be divided into 3 parts, and you will write on 3 sides of the pages. So first part will be the explanation of ozone layer, what it is, the whole structure of the layer, components. Then the next part of the question will include the mechanism of degradation. In this you will explain that how different chemical agents, there are these ozone depleting substances, how they are there to degrade the ozone layer, how they you can show that the free radical, that reaction to, you will add those reaction, the components which cause the ozone degradation. And later, the third part of the question, it will include the consequences. So you can divide the consequences on the basis of, like, what will be the consequences on humans, animals, in general, temperature, So you will discuss it holistically, and in the end, that is the conclusion, you will write about various schemes, various government initiatives that are there to combat, or various the conventions. There are various conventions, there are various protocols, like you have Montreal Protocol regarding ozone layer, so you can add it at the end in the conclusion. So you will divide, this question is for 15 marks, so you will divide it into 3 parts. This is the way of structuring these questions. Next question is about the pyrala, that is, it must be here, the life cycle, nature of damage, control measures on pyrala, and how does it impact the crop yield and quality. You can see here it is mentioned in the book, अच्छे से book में explain किया हुआ है. First you will so this question, let me tell you one thing, that these pests, in the pest question you have to remember the classification of the pests, because it has been asked previously also. Give the classification, taxonomic position of this pest. So remember the taxonomic position of the pest which are mentioned in the syllabus. And yes, all the life cycle, you have to discuss the life cycle. Here the life cycle is mentioned, it's in detail in the book. You will find the whole life cycle and all the parts of this topic in the syllabus too, in the class lectures too. So you will give the whole holistic overview, and then their adaptation and how one can combat them. So it is all included in the book, and how so you can divide the question accordingly, like the life cycle, the nature of damage, and the control measures. So you can divide it accordingly in your answer. And as I said, the 15 marks question, you can divide it in 3 parts, 2 parts accordingly. Next question, if you'll see, it is about it's a 20-mark question regarding the ecological succession. Ecological succession is something that is one of the important topics in your syllabus, in the ecology part, the ecological succession. And then there is also a question regarding the sub part regarding the difference between the primary and secondary succession, and you have to give proper examples and how this succession, it will lead to the formation of the climax community. So in this part you will see one thing, that first of all you can discuss that what ecological succession is. So this question is for 20 marks. You can discuss on one page, on one side of the page you will discuss the general overview and definition with diagram, that what ecological succession is. Next is the difference. On the next page, you will differentiate between the primary and secondary succession. So you can discuss it on 1 or 2 pages and make a well-labeled diagram for the same. You will discuss it in detail. And lastly, you have to explain that how the climax community is formed. So you have to explain the formation of climax community. So there will be stages. For example, there will be stages from pioneer to the climax community. So you have to discuss, you have to show, you have to pioneer to the climax community. So you can show it in a proper format, proper diagram. There is a proper diagram for it. There are proper species, and you can find it on the book. As I said, you can go through the book, you can go through the classes, you can find it there, or whatever source you have, you can use that source. You can contact this number for availing the book, and also you can just make your own notes if you want to, whatever the source is. This is the structure. You have to make structure of answers like this. If you'll see the next question, it is about the structure, types and function of the skeletal elements in porifera. Discuss the role, classification and its adaptive significance. So whatever the question, the demand of the question is, whatever the question says, okay, whether it is about the structure, types. So first you have to discuss the structure. It is mentioned in the book, the structure of that is the composition. The composition, it's mentioned in the book. Then you have to discuss about the types. So on the basis of shape, there are different types. On the basis of size, there are different types. On the basis of presence of actual canals. So there are different based on additional structures. So there are various types, and remember these diagrams. There are various types of the spicules. And then yes, their role in the classification, that in the porifera it has been divided into demospongia, it has been hexactinellida. So it is on the basis of the spicules which are present in it, and its adaptive significance. It depends upon the environment where they live, what is the requirement, how the body has to hold the spicules. So it all depends upon the environment where it lives, wherever that particular type of porifera live, wherever the different classes and orders of the porifera are, you will discuss that in detail, and it is relevant to the classification. When you will see the classification porifera, there you will get the idea that why there are different types of spicules in different types of classes. So this is about the porifera. Next question is about the causative organism, symptoms and transmission of any two common helminthic diseases in cattle. Now this is a question you can find it in the economic zoology. Here you can discuss about any of the two. Like there are many helminths which are present, and also you have to discuss about the treatment. So here you can discuss about either the fasciola. You can discuss about, there are various nematodes, trematodes, cystodes, and among these you have to prepare two or three very thoroughly, and then you can answer the questions like this. And these topics, these are mentioned in the book. You can go through the book and discuss them in detail. Now the second part of the paper, that is paper, the section B. Section B contains again there are these 4 questions, and you have to do fifth question compulsorily, and you have to choose at least one among these. So first question is about the evolutionary significance of the bipinnaria larva. In the book you will see that so it's not shown here, but when you will open your book you will observe that there is a very well organized and well format of about the bipinnaria larva, the various larvae of the crustaceans, and even in classes you will find that there are proper explanation of the bipinnaria larva. So you have to discuss about the characteristic and evolutionary significance, where you will observe that bipinnaria larva, it is similar in many of the phyla. So this similarity gives an idea that it could be the ancestor, or there could be a common ancestor of various phyla which are adjacent to each other. So this is how you will approach this question. Looking at these questions, you must have got the idea that the questions which are asked, it's not important that you remember the content and put it there directly. You have to analyze certain aspects of the syllabus, like this evolutionary significance of bipinnaria larva. You cannot find it directly written in some book, you cannot find it directly mentioned, but yes, you can use your knowledge and some knowledge based on the reading, rereading, revising. On the basis of that, you can even write points. The question regarding the spectrophotometer, it's mentioned in the book. You will discuss about that, what is spectrophotometer, what is the principle of spectrophotometer. You can draw the diagram, and also some working procedure of the spectrophotometer, even types of the spectrophotometer and application of spectrophotometer in the bullet points. That is enough for this question. Ecological importance of ecotones, and using examples to illustrate the edge effect. So ecotones is another the topic of the ecology. Ecotone is somewhere in between two different habitats or ecosystems. So yes, you have to write about the whole aspect of the ecotones, whether it's the ecological importance, the characteristic. You can mention the characteristic, the ecological importance, and also you will explain the edge effect. So edge effect is something, the edge species, it's present in such a manner in between the two ecosystems where they meet, and the importance is that there is species richness, there is variety of the species, there is a mixture of the both environments. So you can discuss it in detail that way. Next question, if you will see, is about the behavior, the sign stimulus, and you have to explain it using the examples, the role in triggering the instinctive behavior. So this topic is from ethology, and ethology is the topics are mentioned in the syllabus. In this you will have to remember a lot of diagrams, lot of examples, mostly examples. Scientists also, that what is science stimuli, how does it work, what are the types of science stimuli, there is visual, auditory, chemical, and you have to stick to the demand of the question. That second part of the question is the suitable example, its role in triggering the instinctive behavior. Like pheromones, they do the instinctive behavior, they cause the instinctive behavior. For example, mating, for example, alarm or trailing pheromones, they cause some of the instinctive behavior. So you have to write an answer which is completely meeting the demand of the question. Next question is about the vermiculture and its use in organic management, and how does it contribute to soil fertility and sustainable agriculture. It's a basic question. You can explain everything about vermiculture, and specifically here vermiculture, vermicomposting, and then you will show the procedure how it's made. And there are various methods, one is bed methods, pit method, and the steps, the process of vermiculture. And the other stuff is that how you are going to make it more and more, it makes the soil very fertile. So you can mention some of the facts and figures about the fertility of soil that is caused by the vermiculture, and it helps in the sustainable agriculture. You will write about various schemes going on about sustainable agriculture which have vermicomposting as its important aspect. So you will include your GS knowledge also in questions like this. Whatever you study in the in case of your GS 3 environment, you can use it here. Next question is about the structural modification in the respiratory system of aquatic and terrestrial vertebrates and the support for efficient respiration. So this is explained in detail in the topic of comparative anatomy. You will see that there is these fishes have gills, and there is different mode of ventilation compared to the other organisms. So you have to explain the modification of aquatic as well as the terrestrial vertebrates. Terrestrial vertebrates, you have amphibia, then reptiles, then you have aves, then you have these mammals. So all of these topics, they are very well covered in the book, so you can write it from there and write a very well organized answer for about 20 marks in a very proper format. So next question is about the adaptation to survive in the desert. Yes, it is a whole mechanism, the hormones secreted by the pituitary gland, their role, and also the feedback mechanism. So you have to explain it lobe wise, that there is anterior, middle, and posterior lobe, what are the different hormones and what are the different functions of these hormones. So they are explained in detail in the book. There are different types of hormones and the feedback mechanism. Yes, the feedback mechanism has also to be explained. So this will cover easily 3.5 page or 2.5 page. It depends upon handwriting too, so you can cover it that way. Another question is about the prenatal diagnosis in case of the genetic disorders. Okay, in preventing the genetic disorders, and what are the commonly used techniques for detecting the genetic abnormalities in the fetus. So there are various abnormalities and how one can use different types of prenatal diagnosis. There is amniocentesis. So on the basis of different diagnosis technique, you can explain that how these genetic first of all, you will explain a bit about the explain briefly about different genetic abnormalities, and then different techniques that are prenatal diagnostic techniques that will help in detecting and how they help in detecting. So this question is about the diagnosis, and we have to study it in the portion of this medical biotechnology. And in the syllabus, it's mentioned there. So everything is from the syllabus, nothing is outside the syllabus. And this book has covered most of the things from the syllabus. Now, other question is about the remote sensing technology. Again, it's a very easy question. We'll also draw a diagram for this question and write everything about its structure, its role, applications. There are a lot of applications. There is use of this remote sensing in various ways, how it helps in achieving different sustainable development goals. So this is one of important question. Next is about the monocystis and adaptation, and even the leishmania. So again, these are also mentioned properly, the leishmania and the monocystis. You will discuss the lifestyle, general features. It is also mentioned in syllabus. As I said, it's a 20 marks question, so you will divide accordingly. You will write on one page, that is two sides of the page, you will write about monocystis, and two sides of another page you will write about the leishmania, and divide the question into parts. Then it will be easy for you. Then you have about the question about mammalian ear. Mammalian ear, again, you will draw a well labeled diagram, explain different parts of the mammalian ear, and also discuss the mechanism of the perception and equilibrium. Lastly, the question is about chi-square test, its application, testing the fitness, and you have to explain it using an example. So you can use any example, you can use data, and using that data you will explain that how it helps us to reach to a conclusion, how it helps us to validate the data. So it's important portion of the biostatistics. Over here you can see the bipinnaria answer to. So this is from the bipinnaria. Overall, if you see that the questions, they are asked directly from the syllabus, so you do not need to worry about that I have to study extra, I have to keep track of everything in the current affair. It's not important, but yes, there are certain topics which are in the current affairs and they are relevant to the syllabus, so you can study them. There is no need to go beyond the syllabus, but whatever is mentioned in the syllabus, you have to study it very deeply, very nicely. You can do it from the lectures of this mastering zoology, or you can also get the book, and it will be very beneficial for all of you. Thank you very much. I have explained whatever I could, and if anyone needs any help in this paper or any other paper of zoology, you can let us know.